Things seem extremely bleak for West Virginia football right now, but how much longer will this last? We're going to talk about it here today on Between the Eers. Good Monday morning, everyone. Schuyler Callihan here with another episode of BTE. Be sure to smash that like and subscribe button here on our YouTube page at West Virginia on SI. Yes, we are here today instead of Wednesday because of the altered schedule with the game being on Friday. So our next episode will be tomorrow, and that'll be the last BTE of the week until the morning after, which will be on Saturday this week instead of the normal Sunday. We'll have the Walk Thru GameDay Show previewing the matchup with BYU dropping on Wednesday morning. So things a little off this week. That's fine. We'll adjust. We'll get back on track next week. We will not have a Walk Thru GameDay Show next week because of the bye week, but we'll continue to get back to our normal Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday schedule here on Between the Eers. So today's topic, and I really had a bunch of things kind of going through my mind about what I really wanted to hit on this week and talk about. But the mailbag that I did on the website, which I encourage you to go check out at West Virginia SI. If you type in SI WVU or SI West Virginia on Google, you'll find it. I had a lot of questions that kind of go back to the same thing, and that is, can West Virginia compete in this era? Now, there's different ways people asked it, but it's essentially what it came down to. Money, is it a problem? How do other schools do it? What's the roster cost this year? What's it going to be looking like in 2026 and years to come? And to be honest with you, I don't know the exact figure. I don't know that anybody has that exact figure. I've heard a couple of different things that have been thrown around, so I don't want to say something and it could be completely off. But what I do know, and what pretty much everyone knows at this point, is that West Virginia is nowhere near the top of this league in terms of the Big 12 in spending on the roster. So that's going to change in years to come for sure. But here's the thing. I understand it's all doom and gloom right now, and it looks bad, and it is bad. I mean, it is. I'm not trying to make this thing look better than it really is, but the this coaching staff really had its work cut out for them, because when you have a coaching change happen and you have as many guys leave as they had, they knew that, especially in this era where you really have to buy players, right? You're not going to be able to get the quality of players that you want right out of the chute. And one of the questions that was in the mailbag was, did the timing of Rich's hire have any impact on the type of players that they were able to get? And I don't know that that's the case. I think the bigger, I wouldn't say issue, but I think the bigger reason for it is because you knew you had to fill so many spots. You just had to field a team. And when you have to cast such a wide net, you're not able to go out and spend big dollars for an offensive lineman, or a cornerback or a quarterback or a running back or receiver or whatever. You have to be very diligent in that process, and you have to understand that this first year it's going to be really, really tough, and you're just going to have to bite the bullet, essentially. So moving forward into 26, that's not going to be the issue maybe nearly as much. It's still going to be a problem because you have so many seniors that are leaving after this year. You're going to have to replace them. Now, the good thing is you have 25, 26, or whatever that number is right now in the high school class that's coming here in a handful of months. So not all those kids are going to be early enrollees, but you get the point. You have a full recruiting class as opposed to last year where you had maybe a dozen or so kids that ended up sticking it out. So the fact that you have a full recruiting class coming in of high school kids, you have guys that will be retained. It's not going to be this astronomical number, but you're going to have some. That's going to help. Now, is that number going to be 80 new guys in 26? No, it's not, but it could be much lower. It should be much lower. And it's probably going to continue to decrease each and every single year that this staff is in place. With that decreased number, you should be able to, in theory, spend more in the portal because, again, you're not casting such a wide net trying to fill so many spots. When you have a concentrated number, you're able to go, okay, let's go and see if we can get a starting left tackle at this price. I'm not saying that's what they're going to go after, but just throwing it out there as a hypothetical. If you feel like you can, if you really need 8 to 10 guys in the portal, which is probably going to be, I would say probably a dozen, maybe a handful more this year. But in a normal year, if you're looking at 8 to 10 players in the portal, you can spend X amount of dollars on a left tackle that can come in and you can plug in, play him right away, and be a starter. And maybe I'm not saying you're going to outbid, the Ohio States or the Michigans or the Alabamas or Georgias of the world, but you can go get a starting caliber left tackle that can play at a pretty high level when you don't have as many roster spots to fill. But when you have 80 plus players that you're looking to bring in, you can't pay 80 guys and at once all this money. You just can't. It's just not how it works. So it's going to get better, but I think what you see with last year's transfer portal class, there's a lot of inexperience. There's a lot of inexperience even at the power four level. And when you mix those two things together, you get what you get. You get what you pay for, and that's the reality of it. Now, is this going to be a huge issue moving forward in terms of NIL? Yes and no. I mean, as far as the university is involved, we already know, we've already heard from them that they are going to commit to putting West Virginia's funding in the top tier of the Big 12. That's awesome. That is huge. But there's also the fans part of this or the donors part of this where they have to step up, pony up, and donate, continue to donate. Now, it's not an easy thing for West Virginians to do because let's be honest, there's just not that type of money flowing throughout the state as compared to others. But if you have the means to do it, you got to do it. I mean, if that's what you want, if you want a product that you can be extremely proud of and feel like should be competing for a Big 12 title and more, it's going to take a little effort from the fans. Like that's just the way it is. It's not maybe how anybody wants it or intended for it to be, but that's just kind of what this situation is right now. Until something changes, then the fans are going to have a part in this. The donors are going to have a huge part in this. And that's why I feel like it could be a little problematic because you don't have those big dollars that some other programs have. But at the end of the day, you don't need the most. You just need enough, right? So if you're just scrapping for pennies in the couch and you're able to donate to the athletic program or athletic department, then by all means do so if possible. That's what's going to get West Virginia into a competitive state. It's not going to be going out there and spending $8 million on a left tackle. It's not going to be spending $4 or $5 million on a quarterback out of high school. Georgia can do that. Let them do it. And I think you're going to see over time, not everywhere, not every position or whatever, but I think you're going to see a lot of these teams really cut back on what the market tells them to do. Because when you have a high school kid coming out and you're spending multiple, $3, $4, $5 million on a high school kid that's never played a single snap of college football, come in and just looks completely rattled and ends up being a bust, at least at that school or that level, then the more that happens, that number is going to keep dwindling down. Some people think that the numbers are just going to get higher and higher and higher. I don't think that's the case. In the NFL, sure. Yeah, that's always going to happen in the NFL. That number's always going to get higher. Used to be $30 million a year for a quarterback in the NFL was really good money. Now that's like not that's like bottom tier starting quarterback money almost. Like it's insane how much quarterbacks in the NFL get paid. That number is going to continue to be reset all the time. You always hear every year or two, seems like it's a yearly occurrence, where this quarterback is now the highest paid quarterback in NFL history, and it's never the most talented quarterback ever, or even in the league for that year, for that matter. So that's just what it is in the NFL. But in the college game, there's an adjustment because it's not the NFL. You don't have that for sure proven commodity coming into your program. You don't. You're not pulling a Patrick Mahomes into your program. You're not pulling, you know, a Josh Allen or a Lamar Jackson into your program where it's known that he's going to be that quarterback. He's going to be that guy. And over time, teams are going to understand that's wasting money. And you're going to see the majority, I would believe, bring that number down. Now, there's always going to be a handful of schools that say, whatever, if we've got the money to spend it, we're just going to spend it anyways, and that's fine. But it's not going to always work out. For schools like West Virginia, you have to be able to again just scrap together enough money to be competitive. You're not going to go and spend millions of dollars on certain positions. You're probably not going to do that really hardly ever. But you have to be able to raise the floor. And whether that means getting out from recruiting Division II kids and junior college kids or FCS kids, group of five kids, I don't know exactly what that formula looks like. All I know is Rich Rod is going to get the best players that he believes are going to help this team win moving forward. It's not whatever level they come from, but it is going to allow you to go after more of those P4 kids and maybe more of those group of five kids and count less or rely less on the lower levels. So it's going to happen. It's going to happen. This program will get turned around. It's a matter of when, not if. But I think what gets so lost about this entire situation is the fact that you bring in 80 new players and that you don't have the money to spend on 80 new players like you would on a significantly less number. And everyone can point to Indiana and Illinois and whoever else says, oh, look, they did it in year one. Why can't West Virginia? Well, it's not necessarily a perfect comparison, if we're being honest. Big Ten, you have more of a, TV deal over there for first and foremost. Indiana, they had a very easy schedule in 2024. They had a very easy schedule so far in 2025. So it's not a perfect comparison. There are certain things that make you question why they're having so much success in early on in their tenures. But it's not like Brett Bielema had that thing humming in year one like Kurt Signetti did. Last year was with Indiana. It was a combination of having the right coach at the right program at the right time with good quarterback play and guys that understood his system and in an easy perfectly in an easy schedule in a year where you need to have a easy schedule to make the CFP. If they played three ranked teams last year, they don't make the college football playoff. West Virginia has Utah. They have Arizona State, Texas Tech, TCU. They have four teams, maybe more out there. Maybe another one or two on the schedule could be considered Big 12 contenders. Indiana didn't have that. So that's the difference right there. So Illinois, I mean, I that was part of the one of the questions in the mailbag was the Indiana Illinois thing. And I don't think it's, like I said, a perfect comparison because Bielema didn't have them humming right away. It took them a little while. And with Signetti, it was the perfect alignment. Easy schedule, had your guys in, had a quarterback that could play. You knew what you were getting. It's not the case here. But what you can take from that is Hey, Indiana can do it. Illinois can do it. Rutgers and Vanderbilt, those teams are better than West Virginia right now. But doesn't mean West Virginia can't get back there and leapfrog them like they've always been. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. It's going to take patience from the fan base. I know it's not easy. When you look back at these last 2 weeks and they're getting outscored 89-24, but you have to take the long game approach with this. You're not going to, the more these guys stay in the system, you're able to retain the guys you want to retain. You bring in the high school recruiting class. You're hoping there's 10 or so guys that can play right away. That's the hope. And I think there are. I think there are a handful of guys that are going to be ready to play right out of the chute. Add some portal guys to the mix, and you're going to be slightly better next year. Is it going to be great record wise? No, I don't. I don't think so. Unless something changes and you have a all star quarterback and you have an offensive line that's just not like this one, then maybe you are an 8-14 next year. Maybe, but I wouldn't put my money on it. I think next year's a year where that's your true year one. This is year zero. It's your wash year. Next year, you get to playing competitive football, and hopefully you're looking at winning 5, 6, 7 games. That's where you want to be. Where in those losses, you're competitive. You're not getting the doors blown off you by 30 some points. Be competitive. 2027, that's when you want to kind of get over the hump. Now, could a bigger jump happen to where you go from being just competitive to being a Big 12 contender? Yeah. But if you look realistically around the league, Texas Tech's not getting any worse. Arizona State's not getting any worse. Iowa State's not getting any worse. Kansas State's going to get back, right? TCU is going to continue to get better. There are some other teams in this league that are going to continue to get better. So it's not like yes, there's so much parity in the Big 12 that the worst team could beat the best team on any given week, but we're talking about the scope of an entire season. It's not like you're going to go from where they are right now to being at the forefront of the conference by next year or maybe even 2027. But by year 3, that's when you hope to really kind of get over the hump and play really, really good football and feel like you have a chance. So maybe my timeline's completely off, and that can happen. That timeline can be completely changed if you get that all-star quarterback, if you have a competent offensive line, and you hit some guys in the portal and, of course, out of this high school class that can be developed into big-time players. But at the end of the day, the main answer to this question is yes, West Virginia can and will be successful in this era of football. They just need a little help from the fan base along with the university. So that's going to do it for me today on BTE. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button on our page. West Virginia on SI will be back with episodes tomorrow, and then with an episode tomorrow, and then the Game Day Show on Wednesday, breaking down the matchup between the Mountaineers and the Cougars. Thank you guys for watching. Take care, and we'll see you back here tomorrow morning.